So I'm going to show you how to put that on. It's really, really simple. There's actually only 3 parts to a magazine release. And what we have is Hey, Cynthia, also at 9533 Training Consulting. I want to talk about one of those, those additional modifications we have to make being, living in a foreign country of California, is that we need to have a locking magazine. Some bright person who doesn't know anything about weapons thinks that if you have a locking magazine, it's going to effectively stop idiots from doing things that are stupid. What a locking magazine does is that basically, here is my Corruptifornia 10 round. When it's in there, it cannot release with your standard magazine release button. So what we have here is we have a product by AR Maglock, which installs a magazine lock on the weapon, and it will only release the magazine once you are then able to release the breech. When you pop the gun open, it then releases the pressure, allows you to then be able to release the magazine. So I'm going to show you how to put that on. It's really, really simple. There's actually only 3 parts to a magazine release. And what we have is we have the pin that goes through, and this is their Gen 3, and what this does is it allows you to be able to adjust the width of the magazine release on the weapons, that if you have something that's a little bit different, it will work with all, because you can go different sizes. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add the pin. The pin's going to go straight through. And what I want to do is I want to hold that down because it's going to allow it to not fall. If I let it go, it's going to fall out. And you can see from the inside, that's all it is. Now, just as a little side note, this is the piece right here. This is what locks the magazine in. So when you have your magazine, and this is what is catching, holding the magazine. If you want to know where that piece is going, this is the lock. Here's the stop that's on all your magazines. It locks. When you hit the release, it pops up. You can pull your magazine out. That's what it is. So let's drop it in there. And then we have our spring. This obviously gives it its springiness, I guess, if you want to call it. I just want to make sure that this little pin is sticking out a little bit. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to push it in as far as it'll go. So this is as far as it goes, and it needs to sit flush with the top of the rail there. So now that it's in as far as it goes, I have to go onto the bottom here. There's a little tiny little Allen key, and I need to tighten that up. Or Allen screw, whatever you want to call it. Now let's give it a good tighten. Nice and tight. I'm still holding it together because I want to make sure that we're, there we go. That's nice and tight. Okay, so it is going to work because obviously we are in 2 pieces. So we're going to bring in the top part of our fun times here. And I'm going to go ahead and just put the front pin in just so that I can hold this together. Now, once again, this is just so I can test the magazine release. So now we are together and it doesn't move. Now we're just going to drop my rear pin in. Yes, there's no bolt in there, but this is just going to hold my upper and lower together. Put our magazine in. Magazine is in. Hit the release. Nothing. So now, what you need to do is you need to break your upper and lower. Once you get that space, you're able to depress the magazine release. Magazine comes out. Now, I'm going to show you in just a minute one of the benefits of this particular item, this AR Maglock, is the ability to clear a type 3 malfunction. Now, one of the things that, once again, all of those really smart people that they're not smart and they're idiots have decided in California is that they want this locking magazine. Well, we've all been at the range where we get a type 3 malfunction where we get a round that jams. Well, what's the first step when you have a round that jams actually in the weapon? Now, I'm gonna put the back end together, but obviously I have dummy rounds here. Really nice. I like these. Are really nice dummy rounds. In fact, they're called dummy rounds or dummy rounds. When we get this locked into the firing chamber and we've got a magazine and we can't release the magazine. So now we've got a loaded weapon that we cannot release the magazine, we cannot get the round out. What do we do? I guess they want us to drive on the road with the loaded gun because that's the only way to fix it. And, you know, people just sit there and say, oh, take it to an armorer. Okay. Well, what if I'm shooting out in the desert and the armorer is 4 hours away? So I'm going to drive with a loaded weapon. They really thought that one through. But one of the benefits of this particular item is that when the weapon is loaded and we've got the buffer and it's charged to the rear, you can't break the breech with a lot of these release mechanisms. But this particular one with AR Mag will allow you to be able to break the breech and be able to release the tension to be able to use your magazine release. I had a different product on there before. I did change it out. Because of that, I did have a malfunction on the range, and it was unpleasant, to say the least, of trying to dig that out of there without being able to properly release the magazine. So this is the AR Maglock. You can see it's only 3 pieces. It's the bar, the spring, and the release mechanism. That's it. So what we'll do is I'll show you what that type 3 malfunction looks like and how this is able to help you in just a minute. So what I need to do is I just need to attach this screw. Of course, everything is super, super tight. There it is. I feel it biting. Let's get that turned in right there. And it's just a little rubber. It's like a piece of rubber grommet, whatever you want to call it. It's a piece of rubber. Okay, there it is. So what this does now, when I've got it locked, when I pop it, that's it. That's all it goes. That's enough for me to release it. Push it back together. Boom, ready to go. Pop it. That's it. It's just enough to break the breech, upper and lower, so that I can release my magazine. So there's our 3 parts. We put on our new safety switch. We put on our AR Maglock. We put on our Patriot pin. And now what we need to do is we need to get this out to the range and give it a test. We need to see how this bad boy is going to work so that we can give it a full run with all this gear on here to be California, Corruptifornia, that's right, compliant. All right? So if you have any questions, definitely put them in the comments below. I'm going to give you all the information where you can get these parts if you're interested. Choose to or not, it's entirely up to you. But as always, on time, on target, never quit. Hoo-yah.